Hey guys, alright, so starting to hook up the solar charge controller. Now, I'm planning a trip the end of December. I won't have solar per se. I might have a single 100 watt panel, I'm not sure yet. But I want to get the controller in so that I can at least monitor the batteries and know what I'm using and, get a feel for how much power the rig's actually going to use. So I'll show you where I'm going to mount the charge controller and how I'm going to do it. Alright, so I figured I'd do everything back here. Yeah, it's a mess again. I started ripping everything apart. I took apart the wood here for the bed, or the couch. If you notice here, the TV bracket is gone. I took that out. Unfortunately, I'm left with these large holes, but I'm going to put something here. I haven't decided yet if it's going to be a shelf with maybe a, like spindles or something to hold stuff on when I'm driving. Here's the TV, remounted with the swing bracket. Oh, I turned it on. Then behind here is where the old TV was. And I decided that this area here in the back is going to be where I mount all my electronics and, my 12 volt, stuff like that. Here's the charge controller. So I went with the tracer, the newer tracer. This is a 40 amp and it has the remote Mppt controller, the remote meter that I'll show you when I install it. But this is where I'm going to put it. I'm thinking putting it right against here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I know there's not a lot of light back here. Lifting it up and putting it up there, that'll give me enough room to fuse and put everything in there. I'll put a couple washers behind it to give me a little extra clearance for a little extra cooling. Don't think I'll need it, but you never know. Alright, so I'm going to screw that in, get the nuts and bolts in, and down here below is where I drilled through the floor into the storage compartment below. I'll run my cables from the battery up to this old entertainment cubicle here and bring my power there. I figured this would be better than putting the charge controller, the actual main box, down in the basement where the battery compartment is, or even the compartment next to the batteries. I just figured it'd be out of the elements, and I think it's just more sheltered and secure in here. Plus I can monitor and take readings right off the posts if needed without having to go outside. Alright, let me get that mounted. Hey guys, alright, so we have the charge controller hooked up. There's no solar right now, so the I'm only using this to read battery voltages and things like that and draw, but it has all the settings that are customizable, including float, equalize, things like that. I don't know much about it, so I'm not going to go into the actual menus and stuff and show you how it works because I'm still learning how it works. So this is where I have it mounted next to the TV here, as I said before. TV goes like that, which will cover all my electrical. Now right now I just ran some flexible cable down to the batteries so I could power up the charge controller and see how it worked. This wire is not staying here. I want to put in I think I'm going to go 6 gauge to the batteries. Here is the Mppt mounted right here, all nice and secure. And this is where everything else is going to go, right in this panel. But that's the update for now, is just how I mounted the charge controller, the Mppt charge controller. What I did do is I drilled some holes. I don't know if you guys can see these holes up at the top and on the bottom of this back panel here that goes into a cabinet in the bathroom. I drilled those holes because I wanted as much airflow as possible through here. I know this whole thing will be open with the TV here, but with this lip up here and stuff, I just wanted air to be able to move in freely to and from. So I just drilled a few spaced out holes there, 3/8 of an inch. You know, any additional air movement back here will help keep the electronics cool. If I have to, I will put a fan in here. A little 12-volt fan. So now we're going to neaten things up. This speaker wire is not going to stay. A few other things. You know, it's not going to look like this when it's done. Right now, it's all just mounting, placing the components in, and figuring out how I'm going to run the actual fuses and things like that. What I did order was a Blue Sea distribution panel, like a sub panel for 12 volt. That will come off of the charge controller's output, and it should run the TVs, VCR, PlayStation, and the Wii, as well as the Wi-Fi Ranger system. All right, well, that's that step, and we'll keep chugging along. Hey guys, all right, so I started up the coach, and I wanted to make sure that the coach was actually charging. I just dropped something. The coach was actually charging the house batteries, and by doing that, you can see here it's at 14.3 volts. You'll see down here the negative, I don't know if I'm focusing, let me get a little closer here. You'll see a negative 0.4 amps, and you'll see that the light here, this little arrow is going across there to the light, saying that right now power is being transferred from the battery to the output of the controller at 0.6 to 0.4 amps. So that's why that says that. It's telling me right now that I'm drawing 0.4 amps from the battery. Coach is running, and it's supplying the batteries with 14.4 volts. Now the reason why this is showing a draw is I just temporarily hooked up my Wi-Fi Ranger system. I'm not going to run the antenna to the roof probably until spring. The only reason is, you know, Dicor and stuff like that, it's getting cold, and I just don't want to go up there and start drilling holes and sealing up those holes in cold weather. I'd rather do it when, you know, the weather's a little more mild, to allow the Dicor to set up and, you know, self-level. So I'm going to wait with that. It's not really a necessity. So right now, unfortunately, you know, I got the coach in the fall and or winter actually, and there's certain things that are going to have to wait until spring. I'll have it all laid out. I'll have it all mounted inside the coach so that the network inside the coach works, but the exterior antenna is going to just remain on this long line, so I can stick it out the window if need be, but I don't think that'll be necessary. So right now, the Wi-Fi Ranger system is running 0.4 amps. Part of that is because I did install a 24 volt converter. So the Wi-Fi Ranger runs between 12 and 24 volts. Reports say you get better performance out of it using a 24 volt converter. So basically I have 24 volts going in to the Wi-Fi Ranger and 12 volts coming out of the charge controller. So there's a little bit of efficiency loss there, but not much. 0.4 amps is nothing.